Okay, here we go. We're back, and hang on, is this... Okay, all right. My recorder's on the floor. Listen, we're making it work, okay? I've been working in the studio all day, trying to get everything set back up. It's been... Hey, Cravers, how are you? Before we get started, I truly want to take a moment just to thank you guys for all of the love, all of the support. It means so much to me, especially those of you that ask me for recommendations and then you go over to tracysdog.com and you use my code Cravers20 for 20% off all of your orders. I can't thank you guys enough. It's wonderful when I get to see, I'm like, oh my gosh, like look at everybody's buying and I'm so happy. And then you message me and you're like, Adrienne, I love PCAT. Girl, me too. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the love and all of the support. It means a lot to me. Remember, I just want to say something too. If you have any questions about toys or you want a recommendation, ask me anything, reach out to me anytime. You can comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or you can hit me up always over on Instagram at Midlife Craving. It is me in the DMs, and I really do try to respond to everyone. So, okay. Let's get into things. And I think I'm going to kick this episode off with my 5-minute orgasm. Haven't done that in a while. It's where I catch you up on all the crazy things in my life. Let's talk about it. Okay, so it's funny because like as I'm touching myself, I have Gorilla Glue all over my hands from hanging stuff back up in the studio, getting everything organized, cleaning up from the flood. I'm telling you, I know that one day I'm going to look back on these times and I'm just going to laugh, and it's better to laugh than cry. But man, it's been a fucking debacle. And I'm like, okay, I give up. Tap 3 times. Adrienne's done. I'm going through some things, and I want to give you, and look, my life is not all doom and gloom. I have so many blessings. I have so much to be grateful for. Like, I can't even tell you. But it's been a rough, 18 months, from 2 house floods now to all kinds of problems, health issues, cancer. And then I think I might have alluded to, some family things that are going on. And it's hard for me to even talk about. It's hard to talk about, but I want you guys to know that if you are going through some things and some very painful things, because this midlife phase, it'll get you, and it will hit you hard, and it, comes in like a blazing train. And I just want you to know that if you're not okay, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. And listen, I don't have it put all together, especially today. I'm hanging things in the studio, I'm cleaning up, I'm trying to get things together. I look crazy, but you know what? The show must go on, and our lives must go on. And I just want you to know you're not alone. I know we are all fighting our own battles. And if I could just let you know that, the highlight reel that you see on Instagram or, Facebook and stuff, that's not real life. This is the picture of real life shit going on. But again, I just want to thank you for the love and support. And I want you to know that you're not alone, and I'm standing in your corner too. Okay? All right, so many of you have been reaching out to me about this viral video, the Hawk Tuohy girl. I don't know if you've seen it, but she was, how they do like those street interviews or whatever, and they'll say, give us your best tip, or what are you wearing today, whatever. And this girl he said, how do you get a guy to fall in love with you? And she goes, you got to give him that Hawk Tuohy. You got to spit on that thing. It is absolutely hilarious. And, my thoughts are exactly as hers. Like, yeah, you got to spit on that thing, okay? And she's out here just stating facts. I mean, she is, and it's hilarious. But it got me thinking, what would be the female version of that? Like, what would a guy do to a woman? And I was thinking of lick it, suck it, slam it, like a tequila shot. You know what I'm saying? Like you lightly That's a lot of likes. Lightly lick the rim, you know, like get your taste buds going, prepare for the ride, and then suck it. Like literally wrap your lips around it, okay? And I was talking to Mike about this too because he's so good at it. And he agreed with me. And I was like, hey, but I want to give a pointer that remember when you're like putting your lips around it to make sure you suck gently. Like think of it as like a nectar in fruit, you know what I mean? And to also be careful because I've had some guys go down there and it's like their mustache, like their scruff will actually like irritate the top of my clit. And so we don't want to do that. And he agreed, like, yeah, you gotta be gentle at first and follow her body language. You know, like I said, like you're eating a fruit, like with nectar inside, okay? And don't be scratching us with your mustache. But I love the lick it, suck it, slam it. Because after you do all that, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I need to do an episode on this. Do I? I think I do. Maybe I need to have somebody on. I feel like I need to have a male on to talk about eating at the Y, which is my favorite place. And it is open 24/7, all you can eat. Okay. I am also so excited. One of my cravers sent me a DM on Instagram and he was like, Adrienne, you have to meet this girl. Her name's Amanda Ann. Her Instagram is at ms.amanda_Ann. Kind of a hard handle, but she's on Instagram and she lives literally 10 minutes from me. So I connected with her and I'm so excited. She's agreed to come on the show. I can't wait to learn and for her to share her sexual journey with me. I wanted to ask her so much yesterday, but I was like, no, like we're going to save it for the show. I'm going to meet with her this week. And again, I'm not going to ask her all the things because I really want to share it for this. I want to save it for the show. But I'm excited to meet her. Like, this is another sex positive girly out there in the wild, putting her life online because it ain't easy being out here, okay? And I'm really excited to meet her this week. So, Amanda, I can't wait to meet you, and I know my cravers are going to love you. All right, let's get into today's episode. And throughout the week, I was thinking, because listen, this flood and the dead tree in the yard and the grass and, you know, the health problems that I'm dealing with a lot right now. And I'm like, what am I going to talk about this week? And I realized, you know what? I want to talk about communication, like how big communication is in relationships, because I feel like lately, everyone I'm friends with and most people I discuss things with online, my cravers, is relating to communication in one way or another. Like, for instance, my friend who will say, you know, my boyfriend didn't even text me last night, or he doesn't call me as much as I want him to, you know, what it's like dating in a long distance relationship and how important communication is and how vital FaceTiming is, right? To anyone that reaches out to me and they say, you know, Adrienne, how can I get my partner, how can I express my needs, wants, and desires with them? How do I make them want me more? And like all of this is around communication, effective communication. And so I want to talk about it today. I want to talk about, you know, the different styles of communication. And I mean, I did some research, okay? I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, I don't know everything, and I want to learn too. I want to work on my communication as well. And so I did some research for us, okay? By the way, I'm not editing this episode, so you're just go with it. Okay. I want to talk about something that I have found to be a game changer for me over the last 6 months, and that is finding my feminine self, living in my feminine era. You know, I did an episode about that, and really recognizing these masculine and feminine energies. I know this may sound like it's just directed to male and female couples, but really I feel like even for like same-sex couples, these masculine and feminine energy explanations, they apply. Okay, so one of the things that I read was that the strongest relationships have polarity. Polarity? I'm so tired. Okay, but it is opposing masculine and feminine energies that complement each other. And it really made me think, because once I found my feminine energy, I really started realizing how much it worked and how attracted I was to that masculine energy, which is funny because I've boasted about it on this show where I'm like, you know, I'm the man, I'm masculine, and I was very prideful about that. But now I'm like, no, I want to sit back and I want to embrace my feminine energy because I feel the happiest and the safest in that energy with my partner. So let's talk about that. So the opposing masculine and feminine energies, they complement each other, right? And this is a statement that I really wanted to read. When the needs of either person aren't being met, that person will put on a mask of the opposing energy and they will close themselves off from their partner. But when polarity in relationships is fully embraced, a beautiful connection is created. And that really made me think, especially about my previous long-term relationships, where I literally would be like, fine, I'll go out and cut the grass. I'm going to go and, cut this drywall down and hang that light fixture, or I'm going to fix the problem in the garage. And it was resentment and anger that put me towards that. So instead of talking to my partner and like, hey, like I'm in this energy, I want you to be in that energy, or whatever, you know what I mean? I just really realized how, and it could be different things too, where, I would find myself taking on and putting on that mask. That was so relatable to me. Okay, so this is something else that was really good. So masculine and feminine energies have 3 key needs that must be met. Feminine energies need to feel seen. They want you to present with them and appreciate them. They need to feel understood through listening and validation, and they need to feel safe, both physically and emotionally. I think the safety thing is the biggest thing for me when I'm in my feminine state. I love, love, love that. And it makes me incredibly happy, and it's a game changer for me in relationships, let me tell you. Okay, so masculine energies need to feel appreciated through praise and celebration. They need to feel free, not micromanaged or controlled, and they need to feel opened up to. So share your emotions and affection freely with them. That was a huge thing, you know what I mean? I was like, wow, like learning those energies has been so huge for me. And that's what I see forward. I don't see myself being in a masculine energy anymore in relationships. Like I like being feminine, and I just have experienced that. And so I didn't even really understand how important the safety of being in my feminine era was to me as well. So, and it just all around benefits everybody. So, okay, let's go back to that. My friend who, her partner doesn't communicate as often as she would like. And let's talk about communication in general when it comes to relationships. And I think we've all been there before, right? Like, your partner doesn't text you back and like your mind is racing and you think something's wrong, or, there's something I've done, or, you start catastrophizing. I cannot speak today. Catastrophizing, are they with someone else? Like, what is going on? Is this the end? And oh my God, it will make you crazy. And this is more like in dating stuff. But I think even in relationships, you do that. You know what I mean? Like, what are they thinking? What do they know? And I think there's just some very simple ways that you can communicate with your partner to resolve all of this. Okay. So I think voicing, just literally using your words and speaking with your partner is the very first step, and it's the biggest step. And I think it's important to learn your partner's communication styles. And this is something I learned in my research as well. So there are 4 main styles of communication: assertive, aggressive, passive, and then passive aggressive. I'm not a fan of passive aggressive, by the way. So assertive is often considered the best style of communication, but it's also the most least frequently used. The assertive communicator has a high self-esteem, is able to find middle ground between aggressive and submissive, and clearly communicates their needs without hurting others. Oh, I strive to be that, don't we all? Okay, aggressive communicative style is focused on winning. Aggressive communicators do not take people's feelings or needs into consideration, and they often achieve their goals at the expense of other people. I know someone like that from my past. Anyway, passive communicators are always trying to avoid conflict. Passive communicators believe that the needs and wants of other people come before their own. They highly value pleasing others and are often uncomfortable speaking up and adding their opinion to the conversation. Oof. And then finally, there's the passive aggressive. Stemming from a feeling of powerlessness, passive aggressive communicators seem passive externally, but hide their true feelings and intentions. And I was like, wow, like, I was sitting there. I feel like I'm an assertive communicator at times, but I'm also kind of passive, and I need to work on that. I should not put others' needs before my own. I should not be afraid to speak about what I want or what I need. So that was very eye-opening to me. So what type of communicator do you think you are? Are you assertive, aggressive, passive, or passive aggressive? But if you are, you can work on it. But learning about that, I was like, wow, and like it showed me right away like what I need to work on. Okay, so I also was thinking, okay, Adrienne, great, we're learning these communication styles, but what can we do about it? And so what you can do is spend time listening to what your partner has to say. Be open to discussing their opinions, and that is hard work. Remember that listening and understanding another person's perspective does not mean that you are required to agree with them. It does, however, tell them that you care for them. So that's a big one, right? Make empathy and authenticity and transparency high priorities in your conversations. Yes, please. Like, can we get some transparency in the room? Please. Be upfront about what you need and what you want, with care for how it affects the person that you're speaking to. I love that. Be self and socially aware. Read between the lines. Notice body language, tone, etc., and what is really happening during the conversation. If you sense the other person to beginning to be defensive, pull back and let them know that you hear and validate their opinions and feelings, even if you disagree. And then another thing you could do when you're communicating with your partner, and we're working on our styles, is be straightforward and clear with your words and body language. Don't leave the other person guessing what you're truly wanting or what your intentions are. Work on creating eye contact and presenting open body language. I think that's really important. You know what I mean? Talk to your partner. And I was thinking of different things too. And I was telling my friend, I was like, you need to talk to him about, the communication and the cadence of it. And then when he does do it, I think it's important to encourage your partner and recognize their good behavior, you know what I mean? And motivate them to stay in communication with you. And I know it's different for everybody, like especially with guys, I feel like they don't talk all day long. And my dear friend, she loves to be on the phone. Like guys just aren't like that. And so I think you need to find that balance. So when he does call you, like, hey, it was so good to hear your voice or whatever, like encourage that, you know what I mean? I think being vulnerable is a big thing too when you're communicating with your partner. And I think using I feel statements is another one too, because you're not putting them in the defense. You're literally owning your feelings and your emotions when you're talking about the things that you want to discuss with them. And so I think that's huge too. And I think another thing too is choosing the right time to bring up a conflict. Like know the moment. If you are arguing or if you're in traffic or if someone's hungry, like we're not going to have a conversation about our communication styles right now. Like that's not going to go over well. Okay. I think, validating your partner's feelings and their perspective is huge. I think being able to take constructive criticism, like, hey, Adrienne, sometimes you don't listen or sometimes you expect too much or, that I need to understand that and listen when someone talks to me and have be able to take that constructive criticism. And I think ultimately you both want to come to, finding that compromise together that will work for your communication, whatever styles you have work together. You know what I mean? Like you want to, that's the goal. I also want to give a side note here too, because I feel like it's important for if you're in the dating phase and someone doesn't respond, or their actions aren't matching their words, they're flaky, whatever. I'm a big fan of running, not walking to the nearest exit. And I feel like you should not be having any communication issues really in the beginning, that honeymoon phase. And also a big key to remember that no response, that's a response, okay? I just want to put that out there too. All right, I feel like I have to cough. Oh my God, okay. So we talked a lot about overall conversation, communication styles. But Adrienne, how do I get my partner to give me more intimacy? And that's like the number one question I get all the time. So I threw together some quick and easy ways. All right. I think a big one for me and something I love and talk about being in my feminine state is I want my partner to just make a plan. plan the date night. Like make them feel spoiled and execute it. So say, hey, dinner's at 7, take the credit card, get yourself a new outfit. I've already made the plans. I orchestrated the Ubers. I've taken care of the babysitters, whatever it is, just making that plan is so sexy to me. And I think that's a very like masculine energy that I'm so attracted to. Like make that plan. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like I absolutely love that. So huge fan of that. You can also book a trip or a staycation, okay? So even booking a local hotel, that to me, that's a big thing that a lot of lifestyle people do, is we're big fans of like getting a room. And this sounds really fun right now, actually. And that's a big deal, right? So book that trip or staycation and do it for your partner. Like that's a great way. I feel like you're going to get laid if you do that. Okay. Now here's the opposite of that. I think it's important to do things without any expectation for something in return, so share the workload. Remember that a relationship is 100. So help pick up around the house, like make sure you're carrying your weight. Surprise her by making dinner and cleaning up and doing the laundry, or you know what I mean? Like little things like that go a long way. I remember in my marriage, I really felt like sex was a chore. And so for me to have a partner that pitched in, that allowed me to rest. It allowed me to relax. And then boom, I'm in the mood. Okay. Another thing you could do is change your pattern of initiating sex. Like a make out before bed, or, it could be like, if your partner's in the shower and you're like, hey, sexy time. If you do that every time, like it just gets old and it gets redundant and it kind of becomes a turn off. So change your pattern of initiating sex. Like leave them a little note or sext them during the day. You know what I mean? Like change up that behavior, make it fresh. And then work on your affection, like plain and simple affection. Little things like writing them the love notes or holding hands. That's a huge thing, like just showing affection in other ways without being like, hey, I'm trying to, you know what I mean? So that's a big one. And then treat them to something, okay? Like treat them to a new outfit. Like I said, the date nights, treat them to a toy. Okay, that would be like the ultimate thing. Go over to, I love tracysdog.com. You can use code CRAVERS20 to get 20% off. Get her a P-Cat or Rosie. Like those are, or Coco. Like if she's never had a toy before, treat her to Coco for sure for beginners. And then intermediate users, I would say P-Cat is just chef's kiss. Get her a P-Cat and then treat her to it. And the tip and the pro tip for this is to allow her to use and explore the toy by herself first. So she'll be confident and comfortable using the toy with you later. And then also that's going to like turn her on, get her libido up. So I'm a big fan of treating them to a toy. Okay. Also, appreciating your partner outside of sexual favors. So this also is like affection again, like giving them hugs, cuddles, and lots of compliments. Like those are huge ways to encourage your partner and make your partner feel really good. And then last but not least, I just want to remind you that foreplay, it starts in the beginning of the day. Actually, I read this quote that said, foreplay starts the moment you stop having sex. And I liked that. I was like, you know what? That's right. And so, not just before bed, like, hey, sexy time. No, like sext her in the morning. Tell her how beautiful she looks. Slip a note in her bag about how amazing she looks or how you can't wait to see her when she gets home. And keep that going throughout the day, okay? Like foreplay starts the moment you stop having sex. Like I really liked that. I was like, ooh, that's a good one. Okay, I feel like we have over communicated about communication here today, but that's a good thing. And I feel like I learned a lot, the different communication styles and really embracing and being in a feminine energy. Like that's huge for me. So think about that dynamic with you and your partner. And I will see you guys next Tuesday, back again for Ask A, and keep those questions coming. It's been a lot of fun. I have some great ones to answer next week already so far, like, Adrian, give me advice for dating in your 40s. And all I envisioned was like a rolling dumpster fire. The the dented can aisle. Like you would have picked something out in there. And then another question was, Adrian, you know, how do you have sex when there's kids in the house? And that's a big one too. And I just want to remind you that you can get your questions in even for next week's episode over on my website, Midlife Craving. There's an Ask A area there. And then also you can comment on YouTube if you're watching, or send me a DM on Instagram at Midlife Craving. I will see you next Tuesday. Okay. Well, I kind of want to go like this. See you next Tuesday. No. All right. Bye, guys. I'll see you guys next week.